Welcome, Miss Christy, Joyful Art Studio, and I'm glad you came here. I'm just going to be doing a little kind of a demonstration today, but if you got some of those supplies that I listed earlier today, you might want to just watch, and because this won't be too long of a video, and then you can do some playing after the video. So that's one of the other things I've been chatting with some families about my Art Lab Live is that sometimes you might just watch, and then I won't take a whole lot of your time today, and then we can replay it, okay? So we're going to, I have this old canvas. I don't even know what originally was on here, but then at one point I painted it red. I'd gotten out one for Jilly to use that was just an old canvas that she had painted a long time ago, and she's going to go over that. You could be using a big piece of cardboard. This one is I didn't want to go too big because then it wouldn't fit in the screen. But this is a 16 by 20 canvas, just an old one I had that I painted over a few times. And then I have some mark making tools. So what did I find? I just grabbed a big fat brush. I have one of these, this is like a silicone thing you'd use when you're grilling or cooking to baste something with. So those are fun. I have some wine corks, which some people may have these around these days. And then I actually have a piece of cardboard that I just cut. And then I found this popsicle stick, so you kind of get the idea. And then I have I always save these. These are the little bags from produce when you go to the grocery store. Or you could be using a plastic bag or a used piece of saran wrap. I love the texture this gives. And so these are just some ideas. And so on that sheet I posted earlier, you know, it could be anything. Some fun things from outside that you could use are leaves and pine cones. Because basically what we're going to be doing is covering this canvas in layers of color using different kinds of texture. I didn't have a small paintbrush, but if you want to use that, that is fine. I'm going to start off with mostly cool colors. The reason I'm doing that is because I do want my colors to blend a little bit. I don't want to make a bunch of mud. And so if you want to use lots of different colors, my recommendation would be either to start off with cool colors and then let it dry. And then you could come back tomorrow and go over with some fun warm colors, and that would be another way to incorporate lots of colors. And parents, if you're doing this with your kids, you might want to do that. Just give them either warm colors or cool colors to start with, let that dry, and then give them the opposite so that they don't mix so much. Because the reason is when you mix complementary colors, which some are cool and some are warm, you make mud, and that's just going to prevent you making mud. Because what we're going to do is we are going to just cover this with all our different textures. Let them play. Let them see what colors happen. Let them see what textures are made. See what they can find in the yard or the house that they might think would be fun to make textures. Even these old, I'm going to use some of these. I have some old paper towels that I used, and those make a fun texture also. And then we're going to let that dry, and then on Thursday we're going to come back in and do there's lots of different ideas, but we can do maybe some letters for a sign. Something might be their name or a fun inspiring word, or they could just do shapes, and then we will paint around those to push that background back, but it'll make more sense on Thursday. But today we're just going to be playing with color and texture and see what happens, okay? So that's kind of why I wanted you just to watch today, and then you can replay it for the kids, or you can put them in the garage or outside, because this tends to be slightly messier to cover their canvas, and just let them have fun. That's the important part. Like, the process is super important. And then parents, this is a great project for you too. It makes just a great background and another layer to a canvas. And even though it might have an old picture on it, that will just add depth and another layer of interest that adds to your finished piece, okay? So I'm basically, since mine is already red, I am going to add in a little bit of white, but I'm just going to start slapping in some color. And I know it's kind of hard to. And I'm kind of double dipping a little bit. And get my sides. And then maybe I'll pick some up with my cardboard. Scrape it on. You get the idea. We are just going to be laying down lots of paint. And you don't even have to be using this big brush. I'm just finding it easy to get a bunch of paint on there. It doesn't matter how thick it is. You can see my colors are like greens and turquoises. And little pieces of that red showing through, and I'm good with that. It'll kind of make it even more poppy. Fun would even be on Thursday if we did a big Easter egg and then did some different patterns and designs and letting some of the color peek through on those patterns. I'm just going to get this all covered so I can lay it down some. My light is a little dark today. Let me do this. There you go. Now you can see better, huh? All right. Here's some more of a minty color. And this is a great way to just use up all those random colors that you have in your craft paints. I think these are most of them are just these little deco arts. I made sure I actually grabbed some that were not that full. And I would say when you're collecting paints, maybe make sure you have, you know, some light, some medium tone. See how I'm just piling it on there? Some light, some medium tone, and then a little bit of dark for some texture. Some of that purple over here, let's put it down there too. And then, once you get some thicker paint, got it on my table here, that's okay. You could even come in here. I could take this and that, see how that's taking away that brush stroke even? One way to start. Another fun one to use is bubble wrap. If you have bubble wrap, if you've been getting stuff in the mail. And I use this until it's just, I will let this one dry and use it again until it's too stiff to make texture. So see, now I just have this blend of colors on here. And then what I might do is take even some more, maybe try this purple again. See, some of this navy. And let's try see what happens with this wine cork. You could even just stamp some impressions in there. Got too much there, so I just move it around. So some kids will spend seconds on this, or adults, or then some will could do this forever, and your paint will be super thick, and that is okay. Wonder what happens if I roll it. Ooh, that's kind of cool. That kind of gives a cool. So just plan on, if you're letting your kids do this, maybe wear some old clothes. You could even do some spots with your fingers. You could write a message in there. Carve in some stuff, because then the red kind of comes through that. See that? Could write a secret note. You don't even have to tell anybody what it means. So basically this is what we're doing. And then if you wanted, once this was dry, if you wanted to come in with some brighter, like hot pink and red, or yellow, orange, I would let this dry, and then you can do another coat, okay? If you have stencils, let them play with those. If you have, what else might you have out there? See what happens? That's what I do. I start throwing paint around, and then I just wonder what happens. And that's part of the process. You could even, let's splatter. So I'm going to pretend like mine's dry. Pretend like this is dry. And then I'm going to I'm going to use this. A little bit of this old water. Ooh, that's pretty. So see how that's going to pop some, but I'm not going to mix it because I don't want to make mud. That was with more of my... That kind of does a cool splatter, this little silicone brush. So that's what I'm talking about. Let's just play and make a painted background. And then if you don't want it to be so splattery, you could touch it with, now I'm going to use my paper towel, and I'm not letting it mix much because I don't want to make mud. I will have to have Jilly do hers tonight or tomorrow because her friend is having a birthday and they're doing something on the iPad and I wanted to let her do that. So anyway, there we go. That's gonna be my background for Thursday. And so once again, make sure you do this as a replay, hit pause when you need to. That's one of the beautiful things about being able to replay your video, okay? And I don't want people to be frustrated. Art's not supposed to be frustrating. It's supposed to be fun. And so, parents, if you're doing this with your kids and you notice that they're getting a little frustrated, there's a couple different things you can do. You can ask them what isn't working for them, why they don't like what they're doing, or just take a break. Maybe it's just too much. Like all these projects that we're doing, I often will break them into like at least 2 classes when I teach them in person, or even 3. It just depends. And I pace them based on what students are in those classes, because some students are quicker and some students love to take their time, and that's fine. Everybody's a different type of learner, and I want to honor that. And also, I mean, I need to fit these projects into an hour so my kids aren't banging the door down and wondering where I am. I would love to be creating with you 24/7, but it's not a reality. So anyway, so please use all these pauses, replays, save them for the future, but find something to make a background. Can be even a piece of wood in your garage. That will be super fun. That'd even be starting with some cool textures. An old canvas, maybe one of those old paint party canvases that you never loved and has been kind of stowed away somewhere. That will be fun. and then let them have at it. And you have at one too, because I think you're going to love what we're going to do with this, okay? So I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. It was good seeing you, and I will see you on Thursday afternoon at 4.